With Mordor now defeated and being tripped out in the best silver armor Markarth has to offer, we now look towards the future, as well as taking care of some unfinished tasks. Can you beat Valheim with no map and no portals? With the mountains taking a lot of grinding to get through, I'm looking to take a break to focus on another big building project. In the last episode, I successfully built an iron bridge from my starting continent to an offshore island meadow, thanks to some very shallow waters. Now it's time to move my base there. Since the south is eventually where I'll need to go to head for the Ashlands, I decide to build my base on the southern end. I build a dock, flatten out a great deal of ground, build a worksman's shop for crafting and smithing, attach a small storage unit to it, craft a small garden, and build a functioning inn, complete with a dining room, kitchen, and multiple rooms with their own beds and storage chests. This makes my base feel more like a small harbor town rather than the hut of a hermit, and makes me feel like I'm not as alone in this journey as I actually am. The project takes a lot of wood and stone to do, but there is a massive amount to be had on this island. On the northern part of the island, I decide to make some paddocks for my tamed animals, but decide to build it out of indestructible terrain wall, because I can. Is it pretty? Kind of. Like a loudmouth but tender-hearted 5. She grows on you. I then begin the process of transporting my materials and crafting stations across the pond. I find that the longboat suited me well for this task. Before long, it took multiple hours, my new base is functional and growing. Now there are still 2 mountain tasks I wish to complete: taming 2-star wolves and getting the Fenris armor. I head back to my fixer-upper cabin and dig out a nearby old silver vein hole deeper. This will become my wolf pit. I also build some terrain around my cabin, just to give me extra protection as I AFK while the wolves tame. To test out my wolf pit, I aggro a nearby wolf and successfully get him into the pit. Now I know it will work, but I'm not here for regular wolves. During a bit more exploration of the mountains, I actually managed to find another cave tucked around the eastern steep edge of the mountain. Always make sure to cover every inch of the mountain if you can. You'll never know what you may find. Another decently sized cave, but sadly still no cultist trophy. I don't feel like sitting down and grinding out hunting for a 2-star wolf just yet, so I head back to my base, hop in my boat, and sail to the west continent. During my hunt for the merchant, I had noticed several mountains here, so I take some time to explore them and see if I can find some caves. At the end of the day, 3 small mountains, 2 had a cave, still no trophy. As night approached, I take a trip back to the main mountain to start my hunt for a 2-star. Hunting for 2-star wolves is difficult. They only spawn at night, I believe only have a 1% chance to spawn, and if you get too far away from them, they despawn once the night ends. As such, it will require me going out at night, finding one if I can, luring it back to my pit, giving it another wolf to breed with, and then not logging off until a 2-star pup is born. I have no idea if they ever fixed that bug with the original 2-star wolf despawning even once it's been tamed, but I'm not taking any chances. The first few nights I have no luck. During the day I head back to farm and do some chores at the base before heading back to the mountain as night approached. Oh my gosh. I need to get another one in there though. Ow. I'll just go try and find a regular star and then just try and force it in. Oh my gosh. I gotta be quick though. Oh, I gotta be quick. After I got the 2-star into the pit, I paused the game and collected myself. I had managed to get the 2-star into the pit, but somehow the 1-star had gone missing. I even rewatched the footage afterwards to see where he went. He just disappeared, without a trace. Thankfully, there was a regular wolf not too far off, which was a relief as I was paranoid at the idea of a 2-star despawning if I went too far. The wolf protested, but his fangs were no match for my wall of steel. I then throw the dog some meat, retreat to my cabin, and proceed to AFK for over 2 hours. Eventually, when I came back, I saw that not only had the wolves been tamed, but they also had multiplied. My goal was complete. I logged off, logged back in, built some stairs, escorted some of the wolves out of the pit, and bade them to follow me home. I am no longer alone. Boars are alright, but let's be honest, they don't compare to man's best friend. I consider myself lucky for having found the 2-star on the 4th night. I think my record for this hunt was 15 nights before simply giving up during a previous playthrough. With that goal now crossed off the list, it is now time to explore more. I've explored the southern end of this continent pretty well, but I have no idea how big the northern part is. I find that the continent is divided by a decent-sized river, one that I could possibly get a ship through with a little bit of landscaping and digging. I continue to follow the west coast, which continues to go north before slowly turning and going west. I passed through meadows, then black forest, then meadows again. As I run west, I see a large mountain island further to the southwest, but that pales to what I find next. Plains on the same continent just a stone's throw away from my new base. I make a campfire, get my rested bonus replenished, and take my first steps into my personal favorite biome. I enter the biome, kill some death skeetos, and hug the west coast of the plains, curious to see how long they go on for. Now is the appropriate time to complain about fog in this game. It's already annoying enough in a normal playthrough where you can just look at the map to navigate. Without the map, it makes navigation in this game nigh unplayable. I bet you guys are already wondering how I'll handle the Mistlands. Don't worry. I assure you that I have no idea. I have zero idea how I'm going to navigate that place, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, okay? With barely any visibility, I can do little more than just follow the coast. Eventually, the mist clears up when I get to some meadows on the other side, and to my surprise, I also see a massive swamp. This continent just seems to keep going and going. It truly is the supercontinent I was hoping for when I first started this playthrough. It's getting dark, so I build a small shelter, get some rest, and then enter the swamp, again hugging the west coast. As I progress through the swamp, I then notice something strange, something that I had not seen before. I haven't actually played the game since the Bog Witch came out, so imagine my surprise when I see her hut right there. In true simp fashion, as I approach, an abomination tries to cockblock me. I beat him in a lightsaber duel, thus earning the title of Head Pog Champ. I check out what she has to offer, know next to nothing about any of it, but I'm still happy to find her, especially on the same continent as the merchant. A little bit more exploring reveals that this swamp is indeed where the continent ends. It's massive though, with multiple crypts right next to the plains. This will be ideal for farming the iron I need for the padded set. I head back to the plains where the fog has now cleared, and explore more to my heart's content. I find several fueling villages as well as a few tar pits. Some of the villages are actually quite small, so I do the ethical thing and teach them the meaning of the word genocide with the help of props and interpretive dance. I then store their loot in the already provided chests, including the wonderful barley and flax, and begin the long trek back home. I return home, happy to see my red boys continue to multiply as they feast upon the denizens of the meadows. I then load up my longboat with a bunch of gold coins to donate to my new favorite e-girl Boggy, the materials I need to craft a forge and a stone carver, lots of stone and some wood. I sail back to the mouth of this river and begin the slow but long-term time-saving task of widening this river so that I can sail through it. The process is slow, consisting of me widening the river, breaking down rocks blocking my way in the river, sailing the boat through the river, hopping out to dig down the ground wherever my boat gets stuck. At the end point, I just have to straight up carve out a river. But eventually my boat is through and I now have my very own Panama Canal. I make a marker by the entrance to the canal on this side, as it would be easy to miss otherwise on my return trips. I decide to sail to this mountain island to check for caves, as I still need that stupid trophy to complete my Fenris set. It did have one cave, but still no trophy. I then sail to the plains and begin setting up shop. I build a little base, cultivate the land, and plant the flax and barley I had pilfered from my former students. As my first crops begin to grow, I sail towards the swamp and proceed to gift Boggy multiple donations and subs. She returned my affection with half-hearted words of affirmation, as well as random ingredients for random drinks, as well as a scythe and some candles, which is pretty awesome. My boat is filled with goodies. I sail back to my new plains base and commence what I call a sweep. I basically just run around gathering, harvesting, educating new students on the ramifications of totalitarian policies, and hunting everything I can, filling my storage space in the longboat to the max with everything from cloudberries to black metal to tar, catapulting my progress through the biome. With my longboat weighted down with Thanksgiving dinner, I sail homeward bound. Using the means of production, I begin processing the raw goods and resources I had liberated from the native populations. With another pet project in mind, I began doing the one thing you should never do if you live in the state of Florida. I decide to introduce an invasive species. By transporting some 2-star wolves to the western continent, I build a little paddock for them, give them some meat, AFK for a few hours, and then leave them to their own devices. The next day, my preparation is over. I have now built an army worthy of Mordor. From the south we came, bringing the sword and the fang and the promise of blood. The forests of black were consumed by the fire of our spirits. Through the night we marched, the howls of the beasts heralding the arrival of doom. The undead men of the meadows fell before our might. We broke open their crypts and rent in twain their bodies with silver and fang, and the plains, well, the plains were consumed. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like and subscribe. If you didn't enjoy the video, please be sure to dislike and subscribe so that you can continue to hate watch. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll catch you all in the next one. Peace!